mayor of the capital city where the most recent taken place. How many of those 400 have come back to London?
The estimate is just over half. So when you
where
look
are
at,
they?
When you look at the...
No, but seriously,
How
where
are
are
we
they?
letting people back in to the UK who haven't just been trained, they've actually fought, potentially against our troops? How are we letting them back in without knowing exactly where they are and what they're up to? Because out of all the thousands of people that we're concerned about, surely those who've actually gone to fight are the biggest risk.
Well, that's one of the reasons why it doesn't make sense for the government to be cutting resources
But
from those...
where are they? You're the mayor of this capital city. Where are they?
I can't follow 400 people. What I can do is make sure
Why
with the
can't
policies, because what we can do though is make sure we get the resources for the police and the experts to follow these people.
Why can't you instruct the police? Why can't you call Cressida Dick right now and say every one of those people who's come back from a war zone, who's in London, I want them followed?
Let me tell you why. Because the Met Police budget, roughly speaking, 15% to 20% is funded by me, the mayor. The rest comes from central government. If the Met Police budget is being shrunk and reduced, they've got to prioritise and use their resources in a sensible, savvy way.
What could be a bigger priority than people coming back from a Syrian battlefield with intent to harm British citizens? Why is it not the #1 priority? Why are these people just allowed to come back in the first place, and then the London mayor doesn't appear to have a clue where any of them are? I mean, no disrespect to you, but where are they?
Well, that's one of the questions that obviously the police and security services are
but you're
looking
the
into.
mayor.
But this chap here...
Sadiq, you're the mayor of London.
Sure, but can I say, look, the 3 men responsible for the attack on Saturday night hadn't come from overseas. They were, for all intents and purposes, integrated into our way of life.
All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for holding throughout the break. I'm Justin Comer, of course, your host on the Justin Comer Show. Now, getting back to what I was saying before the break, I was talking about the London attacks, and if you're just not joining, and what had happened there, and why they're happening, and the total bowing down of Western civilization into the most radical form of Islam known to man, that's been fighting each other for over 1,000+ years. For some holy land and things like that, and just spreading their ideology, which is why the Crusades was created. And people just think that the Crusades were just some evil bunch of group, which I don't condone, the Crusades whatsoever. But the purpose of their creation was to fight the radical jihadis that were invading other countries and lands, and so on. That's why they were created in the first place. Not that I condone that. It's just the fact that's a fact of history. So, and now it's become complete opposite. Now we're just kind of, I'm not saying that people should go out there with swords and start cutting off other people's heads, but they're killing us. That's all I'm going to say. They're going to kill us. Just take that with a grain of salt and read some between the lines there. And now we got Bloomberg even coming out with this article. Airlines say travelers may be growing accustomed to terror spree. Yes, now it's becoming normalized for us to take it and not do anything about these people coming into our borders. And don't be scared of terror attacks. They're going to happen all the time. It's just going to become a part of culture, like Emmanuel Macron says. It's going to become a part of life. And there's nothing you can do about it, basically. Nothing you can do about it. Don't go out there and say that, don't go out and try and call the cops on somebody if you think someone's suspicious, that's Islamic, because you're going to be an Islamophobe. And the cops are going to arrest you instead. Or threaten you instead. Especially in Europe. Now here we got different situations, even though we have radical Islamic groups being formed or are formed already that have been going on the past decade or so within our own country here in places like Virginia and stuff called CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations. That's been going on for a long time. They stage themselves as these little groups that aren't doing anything, and then it comes out that, oh, look, people go to investigate. You're white, you're Christian, you walk in there, they try and kick you off their land, their property, bye-bye. While we're training people to cut off heads of children, women, and adults, and we're training children to intimidate adults, shooting them, and stabbing their throats, basically, slitting their throats. There's images all over that are scary. But this goes on to say, UK deaths haven't hurt sales. British Airways own reports. This is strictly with British Airways mostly. Lufthansa says attack's terrible, but bookings are still up. People aren't afraid to go over there and fly, even though tourism in some of these countries and places and cities are down like half, okay? They're down a significant amount. And the people who are still going over there, I'm just going to be honest with you right now, that you're stupid. Either you're going over there as a mission group, trying to help people and trying to explore, things like that, for a purpose, or for business, something like that, if you need to for your job. But if you're just going over there for some leisure and sightseeing and all that, now is not really the time. If you don't look at the news, if you're not geopolitically aware of what's happening, it's not hard. It's all over social media. For people that don't read real news, but follow fake crap that's on Facebook, even that's on social media. How in the world are you determined to go over there and start sightseeing? Because it's cool. Because nothing's wrong. That's never going to happen to me. While there's tourists from America on TV when the London Bridge attack happened, saying that, oh yeah, we're on tour here. That happened right in front of us. We witnessed all of it. And now airlines aren't having a problem. That's great for ticket sales, great for their local economy there, for the airline economics, but at the same time, it just shows you how there's no fear in these people. There should be some fear, but there should be some enough aggression to say, we don't want to take this. We're going to fight back. However, I'm not going to be stupid enough to go over to a foreign country and pretend like nothing's going on. Okay? Women are getting attacked on streets in London that live there, while these, so-called refugees and asylum seekers are going over there. When they don't find asylum, even if they do find asylum, they're attacking women in particular, because women to them are nothing. Lower than pigs, lower than animals, lower than cows, lower than anything. They are their slaves. We'll be right back on the Justin Comer Show. Stay with me.